Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another speed build. I decided to build a mansion, of course, and a couple of days ago we got a free base game update, and this update included a couple of objects, and I wanted to build a mansion that would be perfect to use some of these objects. So it's Hispanic Heritage Month, and to celebrate this we got this update. There is a new table and just different things. We're going to take a look at this while I'm building this. I didn't use all objects though because I just had no idea how to use some of them, but all of them are beautiful. It just depends on the build, I guess. But most importantly, there is a pergola. So there is a beautiful new pergola that you can use for a patio, for all kinds of different things. And this object is kind of the showstopper of this update when it comes to build by, in my opinion. And it's so beautiful that I wanted to create a whole build around this object alone, kind of. So I also used a vase that's part of this update, but the pergola is kind of the star of this build, I think. And of course, as you can see here, I also used the terrain tools, and these rocks are debug rocks and they are from Journey to Batu. You could of course use any type of rock for this. I just decided to use some debug objects, and because they are floating, I had to use the tool mod to lower them into the ground. If you would use some good old base game rocks, you wouldn't have to do that, because usually they just kind of, you can just place them on top of the terrain. They are pretty forgiving when you use them on terrain, but some rocks or some objects in general just kind of float, and this is why I had to use tool to lower them and to rotate them. You could also build a basement below and raise them, which would be more tedious, but you could totally do it this way. I just decided to use tool here. It saves time, it's really convenient, it's fun, and I just love to use this mod, as you guys know. So I then started to kind of lay out where and how I would like to build my mansion. At first I only worked on the terrain. I knew that I would like to have some type of hilltop theme, so I really wanted to put a focus on the terrain. So it's like curved, and this gave me flashbacks to the spiral hill mansion that I built right after the terrain tools were introduced, like I don't even know when, like last year in February maybe? I don't know, but it gave me some flashbacks because I created this curved path, which was a lot of fun, and I always give this advice. But if you want to recreate this, or if you want to build something similar, always use the smooth terrain tool. And when you apply terrain paint and you smooth it out, you will see the terrain paint, and as long as you can see the terrain paint, your Sims should be able to rock up the slope, because when the terrain is too steep, you can't apply any terrain paint, and when it's too steep, your Sims won't be able to use it. So this is a good indicator. Even if you don't want to apply terrain paint eventually, you can just simply erase it later on. So just apply the terrain paint first, smooth out your terrain so you can see that the terrain paint is visible, and this way you know that you are going into a good direction and that it should work. Of course, you can always test this, just let your sim walk up and all that, but yeah, this is how I like to do it. And this is the pergola, the wonderful new object. It's beautiful. We have a similar object in Island Living, and I actually used this object behind this pergola, and then I placed the new big base game one in the front, and you can see that this object has some beautiful flowers, some red flowers. There are different swatches, and this one is like a dark brown wood color, and then we have some red flowers. And in Island Living, there are some flowers which are super similar. I think they're even identical. And you can see that I placed them in the back of the pergola or on top of the Island Living one. I just combined them, as I said, and this way I just have the same flowers. So this was kind of the whole color scheme. I wanted to have this really typical kind of Mediterranean look, so I just wanted to use this swatch because of the dark wood color. There's also a green one, just all kinds of different swatches. Really, really beautiful. And then I decided, because of the dark wood color, that I had to use this one, and the flowers are red, so this was kind of the whole color scheme for me. From this point on, I used lots of reds. Later on, I'm also going to add these Jungle Adventure flowers, which can be placed on a wall. They are really, really beautiful. And here at the bottom, I just had this gap, I guess you could say, and I decided to use a pool, and this way I just have a really small creek or something. It's really small, super slim, but I just had to fill this area, and the landscaping kind of came along quite organically. I just built this path leading up to the house, and then I just added more stuff in between. It just kind of came along while I was working on this, and it was a lot of fun to build this. I didn't build for almost a week. I was busy and I didn't have any time this week, and I'm just so happy to be back building. And sometimes, just like any builder, I guess, I really struggle with builder's block. I oftentimes talk about this. I don't think it kind of makes sense to just pretend, yeah, I'm building all the time, it's always fun and I have all the ideas. This is not always the reality. It's just not true for anyone who's spending so much time in build mode. There's just a point where it just burned out, where you don't have any ideas anymore. Sometimes it just happens. This is just the reality. So I'm really open about this because it just happens. I build a lot and sometimes I just don't know what to do anymore. I want to build, I feel like building, I want to create content, but I'm just running out of ideas. It just happens. But after taking this small break, a break that I didn't even want to take, I was kind of forced to not play and to not build, and I just feel so inspired. So sometimes a break is just really necessary and really good. So I just built this relatively quickly and it just came along, as I said. Sometimes I just have to take a break, like for 10 minutes. I have to plan out what to add to the build next, but here I just build and added more stuff, and it just came along and it was a lot of fun, and I hope that it shows and that you guys enjoy this build as well. And for the doors and windows, I also decided to go for a dark brown wood color because it just matches the pergola and stuff. And my number one advice for this object for the new base game pergola would be to combine this object with some island living flowers. So in case you own island living, these flowers are just perfect because they are identical. They apparently use these flowers for the pergola. And there's a vase, as I said, there's a new barbecue grill, a table, a mural, which is also really beautiful, a chair, just a couple of objects. Also some base game cast items, and apparently originally they are from Get Famous, and they just changed the colors and stuff. So technically these are Get Famous items, but you don't need Get Famous for this. You only need the base game. It's really beautiful. I mean, especially when it comes to the base game. Some stuff is just a bit older and the textures aren't too beautiful, but these new clothes are really stunning. I know a lot of people were kind of a bit angry because they bought Get Famous and now some of these items are free, but I don't know. I'm just happy that those who only own the base game now have these objects, I guess. So, but I mean, everyone has a different opinion about this, and this is fine. Also, this update was supposed to fix the textures of the skin tones. So there will be a huge update in December, and this big update is going to add 100 new skin tones and sliders. I kind of thought that this would be the big update. I was kind of confused about this. I even think I mentioned this in a video, so sorry if you just had different expectations. I was just confused. And I thought this was kind of the day for the big update, but this will come out in December, so we still have to wait. This update though was supposed to fix some textures, and I'm not spending a lot of time in cast, like I'm not the cast expert, but from what I've seen on Twitter and from what people have said, apparently the textures still weren't fixed and there wasn't really a difference, sadly, but apparently they said that they are looking into it, the gurus, so they will probably fix this for the December update, but I don't know. I just read that they said that they're looking into this because people weren't pleased. So we would just still have to wait until December. So yeah, we will just see what's going to happen. And I really hope that they will do a fantastic job fixing the skin tones. Representation is so important, and I just hope that they get this right. And in other news, the polls for the Discord Decides My Build are closed, and Yeah, you voted for hexagons and a fantasy theme, and I've been trying to come up with the idea, and I think I have a great idea. And I can't wait to show you. I'm going to work on this build right after this one. And I mean, a fantasy theme kind of scares me. I'm not afraid of the hexagon. I mean, it's a pretty basic shape in this game. You could even use it for a simple tower, but I want to do something special. But the fantasy theme is still kind of making me a bit afraid. But I think this is why you voted for this. You wanted to see me work on another type of build, I guess. And I'm really excited for this. And this will be fun. Also, I got early access for the open world mod by Arnie, The Sims Plus. I don't know if you've seen it yet. You probably have, because it's kind of all over Twitter and YouTube, like inside the Sims bubble. Everyone is talking about it because it's so stunning. And he sent me the link yesterday so graciously and kindly, and I'm just really happy about this. I'm also going to check out this mod this weekend, and I'm planning to make a video about this. I might want to build a house, or maybe I'm just going to show the open world. I just want to show you what's going on. It's a really stunning open world mod, and I think it's something that no one really thought was possible. And I don't know, it's just crazy what modders have managed to do this year. We have this open world mod, then of course the True mod by Hilltop Mansion. He single-handedly changed the way most of us build nowadays, which is just crazy. And there are just so many amazing modders, and little Miss Sam was also involved in the open world mod 8-bit. She helped with something, and it's just amazing to see all these amazing modders working together. And we are going to take a look at this mod. So my builds are CC free, and I only use the True mod for everyday builds, because when I upload these builds to the gallery, you don't need the True mod. It's still CC free and unmodded. You can download this build, for example, and when I rotate something, it's still rotated. You don't need the mod. This is why I decided a while back to use the True mod, because it doesn't affect the gallery upload. And for this open world mod, you of course need the mod, but I just kind of want to show you guys what's possible with this mod, just like some type of review in case you are interested in this mod, because it's wonderful and amazing, and it's going to be out for the public soon. I think right now it's only for Patreons, but I think it's going to be out in a couple of weeks. I don't know, I don't want to say anything wrong. I'm going to get this right when I'm working on the actual video. But I just wanted to talk about this because it's just absolutely incredible what modders are able to do, and they just add so much to this game. And ever since Sims 1 or something, I've always been into mods or CC. Like here, for example, for my builds, I don't use any CC because of the gallery upload, and because I just wanted to see if I would be able to build houses without any CC when I started this channel. And then people wanted to download my builds from the gallery, and it just made sense to say goodbye to CC for my videos, for my gallery uploads, and I got really used to this. But before I started with YouTube, I always used CC. Like, I've been playing for 2 decades now, and I've always used CC all the time. And if I can mod a game, I'm going to mod it. Like, I used to play a lot of Armor 3, for example. I always modded it, and then I don't know, anything. Like, when I can add a mod, Minecraft, for example, I'm going to add a mod. I just really love this. I just love to mod my games or to use custom content in this case. But here I'm just trying to stay away from these things. I only use Tool because, as I said, it doesn't affect the gallery upload. But I'm so hyped for the open world mod, and I think we can at least take a look at this, and I might build a house there, and I will show you what's going on, because I think a lot of you might enjoy this, and it's going to be really exciting. And I just can't wait what's to come. Like, modders have been doing such a great job. Who knows what's going to come next year? I just can't wait. It just gets better and better and better, in my opinion. I also want to say thank you so much for all your well wishes. In my last speed build, I talked about my mom and that she had surgery, and you were all so kind and you left so many kind comments. I still have to react to them and reply, but I've read a couple of them and you are just so kind. Luckily, my mom is doing very well. She's at home. She's super relieved that it's all over now. She just has a checkup next year in January so they can see if everything is all right. But she's feeling very, very good, and she's so happy. And I just wanted to let you know, just like some type of update, because a lot of you were like worried and you left me so many comments. Also, when I initially tweeted about this on the day of the surgery, you were also kind, and you were kind of crossing your fingers. Many of you were praying, and I just appreciate all of you so much. And I just felt, I was just so worried, and I don't know, it just felt so good knowing that so many people are just kind of sending positive thoughts. I don't know, it was just such a scary day, and all of you made this day so much easier. And I don't know, you just kind of helped me to stay a little bit calm. And I'm just so happy that it's over now, that she's doing well. And she ordered a KitchenAid, or my dad ordered the KitchenAid for her like a couple of weeks before the surgery, so she would be just like a little surprise, so she could just take her mind off the surgery and all the worry and stuff. So he wanted to surprise her, and she wanted to have a KitchenAid since forever, and he just surprised her. Unfortunately, it's still on its way. It just like takes a long time. It couldn't be delivered right away. It's going to arrive next month or something. And she was just so excited. And before the surgery, she jokingly said, "Oh my God, I still have to use the KitchenAid. I waited for this KitchenAid for so long. I just want to bake with this." Of course, life isn't about a KitchenAid. This is why I said that she joked about it. I mean, of course, she just wanted this to go well either way, but she was like, "Oh my God, I just want to use this KitchenAid." And now she's looking forward to it so much, and now the surgery's over, and she's just so hyped, and she ordered all kinds of different things for it, and she's like really excited. And today I woke up and I checked my phone, and I saw that I had like 10 missed calls. I was like, what is going on? I was just scared. I jumped out of my bed and I ran into the living room, and I instantly called her, and I was like, what is happening? Did something bad happen? And she was like, no, check your emails. And then my parents surprised me with a KitchenAid as well. And I'm just so excited. I screamed, because I really love to cook and bake as well. And my dad found like a good deal on the internet, and then he showed my mom, and she was like, yeah, it would be something great for her. And they surprised me, and I'm just so grateful and excited. So now I'm also waiting for the KitchenAid, but mine is going to arrive on Wednesday actually. So I'm really excited, and it's red. I always wanted to have a red KitchenAid. I mean, actually the color doesn't really matter, but I just love this kind of look. I love the red, and I'm just going to bake something right away on Wednesday, and we will see what's going to happen. I've told you about my sushi adventures last time, so we will see what I'm going to bake and what's going to happen. I'm like really, really confident when it comes to cooking in general. I've been cooking for 10 years now, and it's like a hobby of mine. I mean, of course, sometimes I'm just quickly preparing something so we can eat, but a lot of the time I I just really love to cook, and I love to spend some time in the kitchen. It's so much fun. And I also like to bake, but I'm much more confident cooking. Baking, a lot of stuff can go wrong, but I'm just really excited what I'm going to bake. I just love this so much. I never had any type of mixer, only a hand mixer, so this is like the first time that I'm owning a mixer like this, and I'm really excited that I don't just have to stand there and hold the hand mixer and I have to wait for minutes and minutes. This is like so much better, and I'm going to give you an update like next week how the baking adventure went. Just like the sushi adventure, which was kind of, I don't know, a little disaster in a way. And here I'm working on the interior, so let's talk about the interior quickly. So of course I wanted to have some type of Mediterranean looking interior. So about the update, I completely forgot to mention this earlier. So the update was for Hispanic Heritage Month, and I've read on Twitter that a lot of people were super disappointed with this update because it was supposed to represent multiple countries, but apparently it only really represented Mexico, and it was like really stereotypical. I'm not the expert, it's not my place to judge. I have no idea if this is like proper representation or not, but from what I've read, there are a lot of issues with this update. I just wanted to mention this. Also, this is why I was kind of hesitant to really put a label on this. Like, I don't know if this kind of Mexican, or maybe this has nothing to do with Hispanic Heritage Months in general, and it's like some type of really generic fantasy-inspired Mediterranean mansion. I don't know, but I just wanted to mention this. So it probably would have been better to have more variety in this update, more representation, but of course they are also very limited with what they can do because it's a free base game update. There are only a couple of objects, so what can you do? I mean, I'm not defending this, I'm just saying that maybe this led to this issue, and of course it's absolutely not okay if this is the case. I just wanted to mention this. And this is a bathroom. There are multiple bathrooms in this house, of course, and I use these tiles for all of them because they are so beautiful. Sometimes it's really difficult to kind of find the correct tiles for a bathroom. I noticed that I have a tendency to always use the same ones for whatever reason. And for the wallpaper here, I used the one that I used on the exterior at first, but then I decided to change it. So this is kind of like a placeholder. I then used a beige colored wallpaper, like a regular indoor wallpaper, not this type of, I don't know, this just looks more like something that would be suitable for the exterior, and it is. So I changed this later on. I just wanted to have a small office nook, and it's relatively spacious. I mean, I used a good part of the lot for the landscaping, as you saw, but it's still relatively big. And this here is the living room. And for the living room, I wanted to have a really just a more bright, happy room. Everything is really dark because of all the wood tones, but here I was brave enough to use more whites. I mean, this is a bit uncommon for a very Mediterranean house, I guess, so this is why I say brave. The color scheme is just very different from the rest of the interior, but I suddenly just felt like using these curtains. And the sofa is part of my first pet stuff, and you can just use it like this. I also like to use the Discover University one to just create a corner sofa, but this one is really, really good. I know a lot of people don't like this pack, but in my opinion, there are many good things in it. I think the main criticism back then was that all these things should have been included in cats and dogs, and some people thought it was like not really good to have it in a separate pack that you have to buy, like the hamster and stuff. I think people never really criticized the objects because we have this very cute sofa. The curtains are quite modern and beautiful. There are a couple of really fun objects in this pack actually, so if you own it, I can only recommend you use this sofa to create a corner sofa. I don't know, it's really, really beautiful. Here I'm working on the floor plan, and I included a nursery, so you would have a room for a crib for your baby, and then at the very top where I built this kind of tower that you saw from the outside, there is a room for a toddler, and there are different types of bedrooms. I think I included 2 bedrooms for grown-ups. I used regular double beds, and then I decided to have just a regular kids room. So there is a variety of bedrooms in this build. I just wanted to include a nursery for once. I rarely do this, but the floor plan was kind of confusing and some of the rooms were relatively small. So I figured it would be a good idea to just have a nursery, which is really cute. I mean, for family gameplay, just perfect. Then I decided to add another bathroom. The hallway is super narrow for that reason, but for some mansions I have like huge hallways, which might be realistic, but you use so much space, and here in this case I really wanted to make sure that there are enough bedrooms for your Sims so you could let a family move in. So the hallways are relatively narrow, and I'm sorry about that, but I just had to make it work, and I was actually struggling to fit everything into these small rooms. Here, for example, I wanted to turn this into a room for a toddler, but then I decided to not do this, and I ended up using the room in the tower for the toddler, as I said, and this is just the nursery. And also, I haven't mentioned this in my last videos, but I wanted to mention this again in case you haven't joined the community Discord server yet, you are invited to do so. You can find the link to the Discord in the description box, and so much has happened. We are over 800 members already, and a lot of stuff is happening. We have competitions, for example. Then we have different houses, like Harry Potter houses, but they are gem themed because of the whole emerald thing, of course, and just their daily competition, stuff like this. I don't know, like, to be honest, there is like so much going on, and I have a wonderful admin who's taking care of a lot of stuff. So while I'm building and while I'm busy doing other stuff, she just organizes everything. Of course, I'm also active there and I'm just chatting with you guys, but like all the stuff that has to be organized, I'm just so grateful for her. She does all the work, and it's like a really fun place. You can share your builds over there, so check out the Discord link in the description box and join Emerald Cove, and we can have a chat, and it's a lot of fun. So here you can see some screenshots, because this is it. Another video is over. I hope you enjoyed this video and this build. You can find this in the gallery, fully furnished, unmodded, CC free. You can grab this from the gallery and your Sims can move in. I hope you have a fantastic day and week. I hope I see you in the next video. I love you all so much. Bye bye.